how to enter a US university and study there for free. Hi, my name is Maria Gurieva. I'm the founder of Studyamerica, and we help international students from all over the world enter the most prestigious US universities and get financial aid. In this video, let's talk about the process and steps you need to take in order to fulfill your goal to enter the best US university. Let's go! Before we begin talking about all the steps you need to take in order to get into US university, definitely subscribe to my channel, because here you'll find a lot of very useful videos about how to enter top US university. And the first thing you need to do is to actually develop the strategy. In order to enter a top US university, you would need to spend approximately a year. And it's important to know the deadlines, because in a US university, the deadlines are normally much earlier than in other countries. So a lot of people in other countries actually apply to a university in the summer, before the September when they start studying. In the US, it's a completely different story, and you apply in December before the next September when you start to study. So it's actually 9 months earlier before the start of the semester, and also it is like about 6 months earlier than in other countries. So keep this in mind, half a year earlier than you might have anticipated. So definitely you need to actually have a lot of more time and prepare even more in advance so that you meet the deadline in December. So I would suggest you to, ideally, you would need 1 year before that December when you apply, and 1 year and 9 months before the September when you start studying. So January of the year would be great, so the beginning of the year, and you spend the entire year preparing. Then by the end of the year, in December, you apply. So January would be perfect because you have the entire year for your preparation, and in December, at the end of the year, you apply. And then next year, like a year after, you actually do nothing because you already applied. And then in September, you go to the university that you pick. So that would be the ideal timeline. And in order to actually start the application process and actually start applying to US university, you need to first think about the dates, the deadlines, and how much time you have. Because the more time you have, the better your chances are to get into the best universities. But you really need to prepare in advance. A lot of people start thinking about applying to a US university in September. And then they think they have the entire year before the summer when they're gonna apply. And then it comes to them as a huge surprise that actually December is the deadline and they only have like 2 or 3 months in order to apply to a US university. And 2 or 3 months is not enough at all. And they thought they have all the time in the world, like an entire year to prepare. That happens a lot, and unfortunately, if this happened, consider actually applying the year after. So skipping a year, maybe taking a gap year and applying so that you have 1 year to prepare. That might work much better. So the first step that we are taking is actually the strategy. So how much time do I have? When are my deadlines? And also it's about talking about your ambitions. Do you want to enter the best of the best, the top of the top university? Or you're okay with the not so high in the rankings university, but you want to apply, you want to live in a specific city, or you want to live in a specific state, or something else? How much time do you have? Do you have enough time to prepare for the university that meets your ambitions? And also, do you want to apply for early decision, for early action? Because this deadline would be at the beginning of November, so you have even less time, but you have slightly higher chances if you apply to early decision or early action. So all those questions you need to ask yourself before you actually go on this big trip to a US university. Second step is actually choosing universities, and here you need to create your college list. Here you need to do research, you need to research the universities, you need to understand what are your criteria for a university. Do you want a very highly ranked university? Do you want a university in a specific area? Do you need mountains? Do you need a big city? Do you need a small city? And as you dive into each college, you start seeing if this would be a great fit for you. And this is very important because later you will talk about why this college is a great fit for you in your essays. So while you're researching, you can already start to feel which universities are a good fit and why, and actually take notes. An important factor here in this step is also connecting with the university, because if you do it early on, you actually demonstrate your interest. You're telling the university, hey, I was interested in entering your university back a year ago. So it's very important to start early and to start introducing yourself to a university, to connect with the university, because if you do that, a university takes a note. All right, this student was interested in our university long time ago. And this is very helpful because universities want to accept those students who actually were interested and showed their interest, because this is a higher chance that this student would actually take the place, take the seat, and get into the university after they get the admissions letter. So the universities want to maximize the percentage of admitted students entering their college. And in order to do so, while they choose the students to be admitted, they also pay quite an attention to who showed the interest early. Third step, once you know which universities you want to enter, what are your ambitions, then you already know what requirements you would need to follow and what is the score that you need to show to this university. Then it comes to preparing for the exams. If you're entering the bachelor's program, you would need to pass the SAT test and the TOEFL test, if English is not your native language. If you're entering the MBA programs or the master's programs, you would need to do GRE or GMAT instead of the SAT test, and TOEFL, of course, also. If you're entering a PhD program, you would need to do a GRE test and also the TOEFL test. So you need to find out which test you need to pass and if all the universities require all those tests, although right now they're becoming more and more optional in their test policy. But still, passing a test is a great way to tell a university that you're smart and you're capable of studying there. So definitely try to prepare for the exams and pass them, because this is a very good advantage for your case. After you prepare for those exams, here comes the second part of our application process, and these are documents and applications and essays. So the exams is a pretty big part of it, but try to pass your exams before the summer. Before that December, all right? So that in the summer, you can actually forget about the exams and start doing the applications and the essays. The essays are the most important thing of the entire application process, and you need to have several months to polish this essay, to craft this essay, and to make it a masterpiece. But besides writing this one very important essay, the universities will ask you tons of additional questions, and those additional questions would also require essays. So you need this summer and perhaps the entire fall to finish those essays, because the first drafts are never ideal and you need to polish, you need to improve, and you need to make your essays a masterpiece ready to be sent. Other than the essays, you would also need to fill the applications, and this is not the hardest part, but still, you need to answer many questions, you need to type all your achievements and your activities and your addresses and your phone numbers and the information about your parents if you're applying for the bachelor's program, information about your employers if you're applying for postgraduate programs. So all these applications that you also need to fill out, and also, of course, you need to understand how to answer, how to represent your candidate in the best way in the application. So this is also some work to do. But the most important work is the essay, and the essays take months to finish. Also, other than the application process and the essays, you would also need to do recommendations, so ask people for recommendation letters. And it's important to work with your recommender and actually help them to write the best recommendation possible for you. You also need to do the transcript. So this is a table of all your subjects that you studied and all your grades, either from your high school or from your university, depending on which degree you're applying for. So this is not so hard to prepare, but still you need to go and prepare that and have it sent. Also, you need to check everything. You need to check your applications, check your transcripts, check your recommendation letters, check all your essays and supplements, and send it all before the deadline. After the deadline, you might also have an interview, and it's important to prepare for this interview. And the interview is a good indicator that you actually were liked by a university, and it's like a little event to celebrate already. Although maybe you prefer not to celebrate that early, but this is definitely something to be happy about, that you were invited to an interview. And after that, you also apply for financial aid. And financial aid is massive in the United States. There is so much money in the United States, including the money that they give to international students. So you definitely want to apply for that money, because who doesn't want to save money on college education, which is considered the most expensive education in the world? So definitely apply for financial aid. And you do it after the deadline. Normally, you do it after the deadline in January, February. So after everything is done, you send it out and you wait. So normally you send everything out in the beginning of January or in the end of December. And then you wait, and you wait till April. And in April, they normally tell you, hey, congratulations, we want to invite you to our college, to our university. And so you collect all these letters, you pick the best university among those that accepted you, and then you do a visa, and then you also pay a deposit, and you do all this communication with the university, you pack your bags, and you go to the United States to study. So this is the steps that you need to take in order to enter a US university. And if you want to apply to the best universities, and if you want to get a financial aid, then definitely check out my free masterclass, where I talk about how to enter the best US universities, including the Ivy League schools, and how to get financial aid. I studied at Columbia University in the city of New York, which is part of the Ivy League. And over there, while I was at Columbia University, I asked all my friends about how they made it to Columbia. And by interviewing all those friends, and then also by traveling to Harvard and Yale and Brown, I asked people the very same question, trying to understand what distinguishes them from people who didn't make it. And by the end of this trip and this research, I actually found out what helps people get into the top US universities. And this is what I talk about in my free webinar. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you liked it. And if you did, please press the like button and subscribe to my channel, where I talk about many different useful things about applying to US universities. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next videos. Bye bye.